Hello everyone. This video walks through completing Packet Tracer Assignment 2.1.2.5, Troubleshooting Serial Interfaces. This Packet Tracer assignment is a part of the Cisco R&S Connecting Networks version 6 curriculum. Now, in this lab assignment, we kind of review serial interface configurations before we get into some of the other more difficult authentication and encapsulation for each end of a serial interface. So just to review some of it, remember both ends of a serial interface have to be up for and configured correctly for the whole link itself, the line to be up on both sides. If one end is on no shut and the other end is shut down, then it's not going to work. If one end has a different encapsulation method than the other, it's not going to work. Some other things to note in this one when we're troubleshooting is, think about those layers of the OSI model, especially the physical layer. A lot of times when you call somebody to get tech support, especially over the phone, they always start you with that physical layer. Is it plugged in? Is it turned on? Things like that. So you want to make sure stuff is plugged into the right ports, their IP addresses are right as you kind of move up that stack, the OSI model. When you get to like layer 3, to encapsulation, authentication, and stuff at the layer 2 and 3. So we got to make sure all that stuff is right, okay? So here we see some red, okay? That's obviously bad. Green does not necessarily mean that we have, green link lights doesn't mean that we've got everything correct, but, it is at least a good sign that they're on. So let's check what we've got going on here, all right? So under the telco, let's check all of those against the routing table that we've got here. So I'm going to do a show run, or show RU. It'll abbreviate for show run. So we've got these 4 serial interfaces. Serial 000, it says it's 64.100.34.17. So 252 subnet mask. Okay, that's correct. It's got a clock rate. The interface serial 001, 64.100.34.21.252. Serial 010, that looks correct. And then serial 011, that looks correct as well. Okay. Now let's check R1. Okay, serial 000 on R1 needs to be configured. So that one's 64.100.34.18 here. This says .17, so that is incorrect, right? So we need to make sure, again, that shows you it's green, it's configured, it's up, but it doesn't have the wrong IP address. So we want to go into interface 0000 and do no IP add, and IP add 64.100.34.18, 252 subnet mask. They've already typed in no shut because it's on, so. All right, so that fixed that problem. 17 was actually the other end, so they have both of them at 17. Okay, let's look at R2. Serial 001 on R2 should be 34.22.252 subnet mask. That is correct. Let's look at okay, so got 34.22. Now we notice here that this one is still down. So let's look at the other end here. Serial 001.21. All right, we notice a clock rate mismatch, right? This side says clock rate right here. Okay, we got a clock rate at 4 million bits. This one we got 2 million bits. So we want to make sure those are consistent. All right. It says all the DCE cables should be connected to telco. All right. So we've got the telco one set correctly. So we just want to remove it from this end. So interface S001. Oops. configuration mode first. Interface S001. We don't need a clock rate even set here, so no clock rate. Okay, and hit enter. So it'll take that clock rate out of this side of the interface on R2. Let's do a show run to make sure it took it out. Nope. Okay, let's do the whole command. No clock rate, 2 million. So let me make sure I type in the right one. Yep, 001. Okay, and no clock rate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Oops. All right, now back on the telco one, let's check that encapsulation. So show interface S001. Okay, encapsulation HDLC. Let's see it on this end. Show interface S001. Both are encapsulation HDLC. Okay. Under interface S001, let's make sure no shut is typed in. And then over here, same thing. Okay. All right. All of that's correct, but it's still red, so something's going on. Let's check the actual ports it's plugged into. All right, now here's the problem. Okay, so we see serial 001 here is plugged in. It's got the cable, the clock rate, but what's that say? Serial 000. So they actually physically plugged that into the wrong port. Now we should see green because it's actually physically plugged in. Okay, so that's that physical layer. So that kind of shows you some of the stuff you can check, but if all that's still wrong, then it's got to be something causing the problem. So we could have started there first. All right, now let's move on to R3. We see that these two are red as well. So show run. Let's see, this one's serial 000 on this end, serial 010 on that end. So serial 000, 34.26, 252. Now this one says shut down, so I do notice that. We probably need to turn that on, okay? So let's go ahead and do it. Interface S000, no shut. Okay, that's all we needed to do for that one. You see now we got 60 and it turned to up. So this end was down, the other end was up. Remember, if one end's down, one end's up on a serial, both will be down, okay? Now let's look at R4. R4 is serial 001. We got 34.30, 252 subnet mask, okay? But I do notice here it says encapsulation PPP. Now, the telco router, it tells us all of them should be HDLC encapsulation. It cannot be one encapsulation on one end and one on the other, otherwise it will not work. The link light may be green, but it's not going to work. The interface is still going to be down. So we want to go into interface serial 001 here and do encapsulation HDLC. Okay, and you see that change to up. Encapsulation HDLC is a Cisco proprietary encapsulation and is set by default on any serial interface. So here we have, if telco, it tells us should be HDLC right here in part 2, step 2, then we know nothing else can be something different, okay? So we got that. Now let's check telco. All right, so the last thing we want to look at is on telco, because we got kind of all R1 through R4, right? Let's do a show run and double check. Now, one thing I noticed here, you see how all these have clock rates? Because it does say that the clock rate should be set on telco each time. This one doesn't have a clock rate, so let's set one. All right. So that was interface serial 011, and clock rate, we'll go with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, maybe the cable is plugged in incorrectly then here, because, yep, so the DCE end of the cable is on the wrong side. So it looks like R4, because I noted when I tried to set the clock rate, R4's got the DCE end, so they plugged in the wrong end of the cable. So let's delete that. Now let's go grab the right cable, plug it into serial 011 with the clock on it, and then this one's 001. All right, now that gives us 100 out of 100. So you see we had two physical layer issues. One was it was plugged into the wrong interface. One was the cable was flip-flopped on the wrong end. And then we had an encapsulation issue. And then we had which the encapsulation is like layer 2. Then we had a issue at layer 3 with the IP address. So we had quite a few issues here with the lab, but again, it's just all about how serial interfaces operate. So that takes care of Packet Tracer Assignment 2.1.2.5, Troubleshooting Serial Interfaces.